So I posted a video. It's been about 2 months, and I posted a video telling you guys that I'm back. What should I talk about? I'm not really an NBA guy right now. I don't know what to talk about. What do you guys want to see? And a whole lot of people in the comment section were telling me that they wanted to hear my opinion on the WNBA drama. And man, I've gotten to this point where I decided, you know what, I'm just going to, check out this drama, see what people are talking about. What do you want me to talk about, guys? Like, what is this drama you're talking about? And I see this video by Stephen A. Smith. And this video is titled, My Thoughts on Caitlin Clark's Comments on Black Women. And I was like, bro, what's happening? So I decided to watch just a little bit of Stephen A.'s video. I didn't watch the whole thing because I don't like Stephen. I don't like what he has to say. But I saw this quote by Caitlin Clark, her talking about black women, talking about white privilege. And I'm actually disappointed that she had to say this. The main thing you should know about before we get into this video is that I totally disagree with what Caitlin Clark has to say here. I hate the fact that she said this statement. And this video is going to be breaking down why I think that comment is setting us back. We're going in the wrong direction. We're supposed to be just appreciating basketball for basketball. We're bringing race into it. Caitlin Clark's comment is not helping but harming the situation. She's just bringing race into the situation more when it's not needed at all. We're going to get into it. That is my thesis statement. This is a video essay. Like any essay, we're going to have a couple topics, 3 of them actually, that are going to be backing up my thesis statement. And look, guys, we're going to really get into this. So if you're not for the drama, like, go ahead and click off this video because we're about to get into it. And I'm going to tell you what I think. We're not going to sugarcoat it. So this is my opinion. And yeah, let's get into this, man, because there's a lot to say. To start off, let's go ahead and just read this quote. I'll put it on the screen. This is just an excerpt from the Time magazine. If you don't know, Caitlin Clark won Athlete of the Year in Time magazine 2024. But the quote says, I want to say I've earned every single thing. But as a white person, there is privilege. A lot of those players in the league that have been really good have been black players. This league has kind of been built on them. The more we can appreciate that, highlight that, talk about that, I think it's very important. I have to continue to try to change that. The more we can elevate black women, that's going to be a beautiful thing. The first part of this that I really dislike is the fact that she says, I want to say I've earned every single thing. But there is no but, Caitlin. You did. And it's actually really insulting to us fans. I'm going to say this is very insulting to us fans that you think that we only like you because of your skin color. It's insulting. Or not even to say, because that's not what she's saying. She's not saying that we only like her because of her skin color. But what she's saying is that she has a better opportunity to be liked because of her skin color, which is not fair to us fans. Caitlin Clark is a spectacular basketball player. Of all the players I've seen in the WNBA, I've watched every single team because I watched every single Indiana Fever game. And guess what? There was not one player that played the way Caitlin Clark plays. From her vision to her shooting to her shot selection to her celebrations and to the way she carries herself. She's very likable. She's very charismatic. She is what a lot of players aren't. And all those things that she is and that there aren't, it has nothing to do with the fact that she's white in a majority black league. Because yes, she's white and most of these players aren't, but it has nothing to do with that. What I'm talking about is the fact that she can hoop like they can. She is likable like they aren't. She has celebrations. It is her. That is why we enjoy watching Caitlin Clark. It is her character, her soul. It has nothing to do with her skin color. Let me tell you something, man. I have not watched any WNBA basketball before Caitlin Clark. I haven't. And not once, because I'm a black person. I know the narrative is roaming around that black men hate black women. But that's not me. Look, I've never, ever decided to not watch the WNBA because it's a league full of black people. That's just not why. The reason I have not watched the WNBA is because it has not been something I wanted to support. I don't like the character of the people in the WNBA. Look, a lot of the players in the WNBA happen to be very unlikable. They're all activists. That is why a lot of people have not wanted to support the WNBA. It's because the league is unlikable. The players are unlikable, and they all happen to be black. It is not black first, and then they're unlikable because they're black. No, they're just unlikable, and they happen to be black. And Caitlin Clark is likable, and she happens to be white. Race is not a part of this. She is a great player who also has charisma, or as my generation would say, she has riz. It's like Steph Curry. Steph Curry has the game, and he also has the charisma, which makes him likable. Steph Curry is not likable because he's light-skinned. And really, he's black. Steph Curry is black, and yet he's the face of the NBA. Guess what? Race has nothing to do with it in the NBA, right? Because, look, Anthony Edwards is dang near the face of the league, and guess what? Luka Doncic is also a great player. He's white and he's not as liked, along with Jokic, along with Tatum, who's light-skinned. It has nothing to do with color. It just happens to do with skill. We enjoy skill. So this first quote by Caitlyn saying that I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is privilege. Look, there is no privilege when talking about you're earning the athlete of the year. We're talking about you being on the court, being an athlete, just being a player, playing a game and doing it well. You are likable off the court, and on the court, you are also likable and you have skill. That is why you won this, Caitlyn. Look, there is no but. You don't have to say but. You can just say you earned it because you did, Caitlyn. And I hope I'm not spitting on the mic. Now, look, the second topic that we're going to have to get into has to do with what Caitlin Clark says later on. She says a lot of those players in the league that have been really good have been black players. This league has kind of been built on them. The more we can appreciate that, highlight that, talk about that, I think is very important. I have to continue to try and change that. The more we can elevate black women, that's going to be a beautiful thing. What a lot of people who say things like what Caitlin Clark is saying right here don't realize is that this is a crazy generalization. To say that we need to elevate black women, just elevating souls based on their race, is ridiculous. A lot of the players in the WNBA, the majority of them, I can't speak for everyone, but from everyone I've seen so far, a lot of these people aren't as popular as Caitlin Clark. They don't have the fans that Caitlin Clark have because of their soul, because of the inner part of them, because of your character. You're just not likable. That's all it is. Caitlin Clark happens to be likable. You're not likable, which is why you are not elevated. Caitlin Clark, you were elevated as Time Magazine 2024 Athlete of the Year because you are likable and you also have skill. These other players don't have that, which is why they are not elevated. You can't just look at their skin color and say, just disregard everything they do and be like, they need to be elevated like me because their skin color and because we want to have racial equality. I understand it to a certain extent. Like you want to, like I'm a black person. Like black people used to be slaves. That's just the truth. Right? You want to have equality. That's like why we overturned Plessy v. Ferguson. That's why we desegregated, to have equality. But that equality that we're talking about is not the equality that Caitlin Clark is talking about, because this equality is like a communism kind of equality. This equality is totally disregarding the soul and only wanting to elevate people because they're black. What people are failing to understand is that most WNBA players are unlikable and they happen to be black. Most WNBA players are unlikable and they happen to be black. Do you understand that? You just happen to be black. That's all it is, all right? Now get into my third essay topic. If we want to get to the point where we're just focused on basketball and we're not focused on drama or politics, we also have to be honest. What Caitlin Clark and most of the people who are saying things like Caitlin Clark are trying to do is they're trying to move us away from, or at least they say they're trying to move us away from race and let's just focus on basketball. That's what we actually want. If we were just focusing on basketball, we would have to say that Caitlin Clark, like there's no but in any of this. Like the whole statement, I want to say that I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there's privilege. Like there's no but there. It's just I've earned every single thing because you're a great basketball player and there's no other strings attached. That's just the truth. The reality of this situation is that Caitlin Clark is, for one, more likable than most of the players in the WNBA. And not to say that there are not players in the W who are likable, but the ones who are in the W that are likable just are not to the skill level of Caitlin Clark. I like Kelsey Mitchell almost as much as I like Caitlin Clark, besides the fact that Kelsey Mitchell's just not as good of a player. That's why we like Caitlin Clark more. So, like, you have players in the W who are likable, but they're not to the skill level of Caitlin. You have to have both. Caitlin has both, which is why she is where she is. And that's just the truth, and we have to accept that. We can't sugarcoat it, and we can't lie. We have to be honest if we want to get to a point where we're just focusing on basketball and not politics. Honesty says that Caitlin Clark is where she is because of her skill, and she should be able to accept that. It's actually really sad and really it's disappointing. It's really just it's sad, like most things today are. Most things on social media, most political things are, because like Caitlin Clark can't accept the fact that she is where she is because she's a great player and because she's likable. You have to bring race into it. It has nothing to do with race, guys. That's all I'm trying to say. And I hope you guys can see why I disagree with her statement, or at least why I have pushback to her statement. What she's trying to do here is a cool thing, but she's doing it wrong in my opinion. And she's not helping, she's harming the situation. Now look guys, to end off this video essay, I just have to say, I know a lot of people are gonna think that I am contributing to the problem by bringing up, the politics and the drama instead of just focusing on basketball. And I disagree, because I think it's relevant. And look, this is Convos with Carter. I talk about what I want to. I think my opinion is a fair opinion. I think I've, well presented my thesis statement, and you might not think so. I don't know. I won't know until I watch over this video, but I think I did a good job in explaining myself. And obviously, I agree with myself because it's my own opinion. There's a little bit of arrogance in it, right? But guys, look, man, I just want to say, man, I really did enjoy watching the WNBA season. I really enjoyed watching the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark. And it was really just because of her skill and because she's likable, she's humble. And, we all as humans love that part when, the hero was going against the villain, and Caitlin Clark was the hero in this little story. People were hating her for no reason. She didn't do anything to these players, and they just hated her. And to see her prove the haters wrong, all the people saying that she wouldn't do well in the W, to see her prove them wrong and actually flourish, actually thrive, to actually be well in the MVP conversation, to, be by far the rookie of the year, to do the things she did, it was really spectacular, man. She broke so many records. And guys, that is something that should be appreciated. We don't have to bring race into that. And so I'm not just bringing up politics to bring up politics. I'm not just bringing up, the buzzwords to bring up the buzzwords. I'm bringing it up because we should be able to really enjoy basketball without having to say but. Like Caitlin Clark did all these great things, but then there's always the but. Caitlin Clark, let's go back to the quote. She said, "I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is a privilege." You had to bring in the but. No, you did earn it. You earned it because you were great. And that's just what we should be able to say. We shouldn't have to say but just to please some people who want to be victims, who are horrible people on the inside. They're hateful people on the inside, but then they want to say that they're disliked because they're black. No, you're disliked because you're hateful. And yeah, man, that's just all I'm trying to say. I know there was one comment, someone said, I'm going to be dancing in a field of minds, something along those lines. The commenter knows who they are. And that's what I'm doing here. I know I'm going to catch some hate for this video, but we got to say what's got to be said, man. And that's what we're going to end off this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. More WNBA content to come. I'm probably going to be breaking down that Stephanie White, Caitlin Clark, film of when they worked out, because people said they wanted to see that, so we might get to that next. And we're going to look at some college basketball probably. Paige Beckers had a decent game. Juju Watkins has been having decent games. We're going to be looking in depth into it. If we can break down the film, I don't know if I can, guys. I don't know. That's half the reason I didn't talk about the NBA is because I can't break down the film without getting copyrighted. I don't know if I can break down film, but if I can, we'll get into it. And we'll talk about that more in a later video. My camera's going to die, so I got to go, y'all. Y'all take it easy. Peace out.